What if your speaking gigs could actually generate revenue without feeling salesy? My guest today, Andrea Merrill, has cracked the code on speaker monetization. With a background in psychology and a deep understanding of audience engagement, she's developed the Mic framework to help speakers turn their message into money. In this conversation, we dive deep into how to craft a keynote that captivates, build a speaker ecosystem that pays, and confidently own the stage. If you've ever wondered how to turn your storytelling into profit, you won't want to miss this episode. Andrea, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Can you intro me everywhere?
I know, right?
Yes, I love that.
So fun. I've been working on my chat GPT. I created a GPT,
Ooh.
a little intro GPT, and so I literally take your website. I just took your URL, put it in there, and then I've created it. So I'm like, hey, make it to the point, pull key takeaways that the audience can learn, right? And it does a really good job.
Ooh. I love that. A very sweet.
Yeah, and this is all about you, but I will say this too. Sorry to take over and make it about me for one brief
No, I
second.
like this. I'm
You know,
learning.
yeah, cool. You know, Funnel Hacking Live, of course. Russell Brunson's Funnel
Mhm.
Hacking Live. 5,000 people go to the thing. It's crazy. Devon Brown is the MC of Funnel Hacking Live. He's the guy that's always introducing all the speakers and getting everybody pumped up and all that. So I corralled him at one point and I was like, hey, you do these amazing intros for speakers. I was like, it can't be what they're giving you. And he goes, no. Inevitably, whenever somebody gives you their intro, how they want to be introduced, it's long and bulky and goes on forever. And I said, well, what's the secret? And he goes, well, I just take the two or three things, the highlights about the speaker and how it can serve the audience. And
Mhm.
that's how I make it. So I turn that into my GPT. There you go.
So good. So good.
So good.
I love that.
anyway, anyway, so you have Virtually Adventurous and you help people. Well, it's so much more than monetizing a speech, shall we say, or
Yeah.
do in your words, not mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So actually, I am changing over from Virtually Adventurous to Andrea Merrill. Yes, I'm using my name. I know this is a
Amazing.
big deal. Yes. The reason that I say that it's a big deal for the audience listening is when you're a speaker, you should be using your name. People are going to know you by your name, not by your business name or your brand name. And for me, I want to talk the walk, right? Like I literally tell my speakers, use your name so people can find you, especially when they're Googling you. So they're not going to remember Virtually Adventurous. So after 6 years, I have finally decided to switch over. So I'm super excited.
Wow. Well, quick, we can't just let that go by. I mean, that's your identity that
No?
you've been building for 6 years. And I mean, when
Yeah.
I go to virtuallyadventurous.com, I mean, CNN, Bold Journey, CBS, NBC, ABC, Shout Out Arizona, all these amazing places where you've 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 built that authority. So tell me,
Yeah.
was it an overnight or was this 3 months in the works? Or tell me a little bit about the
Oh,
mindset to make that happen, I guess is my question.
ooh. It's been a good year, like thinking about this, because you can go to andreamerrill.co and um I have been working on my website there. So I'm slowly building it out and I'm slowly transitioning over to Andrea Merrill. So it was not an easy decision because I was really, do
I'm just
you
looking
like
at it
it?
right now. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. I love the colors. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks
Like it's a
yeah.
total brand shift.
Wow. Yeah, everybody watching, listening, andreamerrill.co. AndreaMerrill.co. Okay, go on.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been about a year in the making. It's been a lot of processing. I was very afraid to step forward and use my name. I felt like people didn't care, it didn't matter. It's just a brand, like I'm just using a brand name, Virtually Adventurous. I absolutely love that name. It's held true to my heart. But a lot of people thought I was a VA or I was something else. They never understood what my brand name was. And I always have to pretty much tell them exactly what I do. So to get rid of confusion, because confused minds don't convert, guys, they do not convert. I have made the decision and I literally just switched it on LinkedIn and Instagram yesterday to my name. And it was a big deal for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I am using my name. I feel like 2025 is going to be epic because I'm finally standing in my power of standing in my, taking ownership of my name. And that does matter. You are your brand and you are an authority builder. And I want to be known for my name.
Beautiful. Uh, how to monetize speaking from stage. You can monetize your message without feeling salesy. Some of your copy.
Yes.
What else did we have here? Yeah, after working, I'm just sorry to. Oh, make more money, honey. I love that. I I know. Boy, I want to get into what you do. So that's what I'm trying to frame here. You
Yes.
you obviously
Let's
help.
do it.
Yeah, you help women uh, speak from stage, monetize their message. I heard you just say something such as, live your purpose, or more authentically, be who you are. So
Yeah.
you're fully stepping into that yourself. But I do want to say I've been, we're followers on LinkedIn, however you say that. But boy, you've been
Yeah.
putting out some great new content or posts, just a ton of it, like new photo
Yeah.
shoots, new messaging. Tell me about. I want to dive into that a little bit, all the because I think it's
Yeah.
valuable for the audience. So tell me about that experience, and I mean, because you got a lot going on.
I got a lot going on. And I believe that when you are ready to step into your voice, because I help speakers claim their voice, right? Like, use your voice. The world needs to hear it. You are transforming people's lives and you're creating a ripple effect. And that's why I love, not like, I love working with speakers that are heart centered, that truly want to make a difference and change people's lives. And that's what speakers get to do. They give you hope, right? Like when you listen to a speaker, you get hopeful, you get a takeaway. Like even listening to you when we got started and you started speaking and you were talking about chat GBT, somebody is going to take that away and run with it and be like, oh my gosh, I need to do that too. Or maybe I need to change my intro and think and look at that, right? So I think it's really important when we are speaking that we're sharing our message in such an authentic way that is storytelling. I really help people craft their brand story to be able to sell without selling from stage. And I do work with both men and women. So I love helping them be able to craft this keynote that is off of their story, one that they didn't even think of. I really bring in my psychology degree in behavior. So it's around, so I used to be a behavior and trauma therapist for high profile cases in Arizona. And I love doing that. And it was absolutely amazing until I almost died pregnant with my fifth child. And that's where life turned and changed everything for me. And that story that I tell people, they are empowered. They realize that they are capable of so much more. So let me finish that story for you so you are able to fully understand what I'm talking about. So, my appendix ruptured at 20 weeks pregnant with my fifth child, and I had to be airlifted out. It was absolutely awful. I had four small children at the time, and I thought I wasn't going to live. Honestly, it was so bad. And I ended up being in and out of the hospital for 3 months. I caught MRSA. I had to have a drain placed in my stomach. I went into preterm labor. I was airlifted out twice in my area, like awful. So we come home finally. I'm home for about 7 days, and my water breaks a month early. And I was like, seriously, like I just got out of the hospital. I did not want to go back. So I did go back, of course, to have her. And I came home to a home that I didn't expect. And it was, we were in foreclosure. Our HOA was auctioning off our home, and our water got turned off at 120 plus degrees here in Arizona. And all I could think of is I have this piece of shit red van. Like, it's awful. And it had no AC. So I couldn't take my baby with me. The water's in my name. So I had to go. And that I had PTSD really, really bad. I didn't want to leave her. I wanted to be in the safety of my own home. I just went through so much. And so, anyways, I get into the car. I go to the water company. I have no idea how I turned on that water, but I got the water turned back on. I honestly can't remember because it was so much, and I was so overwhelmed, and I just cried and cried. And on the way home, I no longer cried. I said, Andrea, it is time to pull up like those big girl panties, and it is time to do the thing. You are a smart, educated woman that can do anything. Like I can do anything. So I come home, and I had actually helped a friend generate over $1 million of revenue in her business by helping her just do her website, her SEO, some blogging. I helped her a little bit with sales, and rebranded her completely. And they generated over $1 million of working together within 3 months. And this was during the time that I was in the hospital because I was really bored. Like I was really bored. And I was like, what am I going to do? So I helped her, and I realized if I can help her, I can help other people. So came home, all I had was my iPhone. Okay, my iPhone 8, and I built my website on it. I built my brand on it. Talk about scrappy. Okay. So when people say that they don't have tools, don't tell me that you don't have tools. We all have a phone in our hand. So I built it, and within 7 days I made $12,500, and I have been doing it ever since.
Oh my gosh. Hey, on some pre-calls we had too, you have been scrappy for forever. So you started a sewing business. You were telling me
Yes.
even before all that, you're like, yeah, but you don't understand. Like baby number two or something or three, I was started a sewing business.
Yep.
Tell us about that. I mean, I got yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that it is after baby number three. So I had three under 3 years old. And I was going through where I couldn't really work, right? Like I was like, how are we gonna make extra money? My husband's working so much. We're gonna have a third baby. And how am I gonna diaper three kids? Like I had no idea. So I was like, you know what? I will cloth diaper them. And not only will I cloth diaper them, I will make them. And I have never sewed in my life ever. That's not a thing. I like didn't have that growing up, and literally told someone that I was cloth diapering my kids and that I was sewing, and I I sold a cloth diaper before I had ever sewed in my life. So she paid me, I think it was like $100. I went out, I bought the material, I bought the sewing machine, and I came home and I said, we're doing the thing. Like, and it became the most profitable business ever. Like, I literally made hundreds of thousands of dollars from this sewing business. So I'm over here sewing, and I have my little ones, and like I was making the money. So we were able to actually vacation. We were actually able to, we lived near Carowinds, if anybody is in the Carolinas. So it is this huge theme park that is in between, it's on the border of North Carolina and South Carolina. And I was able to pay for season passes, and we went there almost every single weekend. And it was the most fondest memories that we have ever had.
That's beautiful. Quick, tell me, you take your phone, you
Yeah.
help your friend, uh, generate $1,000,000, whatever, rebrand, do all this stuff. Not
Yep.
whatever. That's amazing. And you're inspired. You take your phone, and what is it that you create that you make $12,500 in 12 days? Is that what you said? It's something like that?
7 days.
In 7 days.
Yeah,
What
7 days. Yeah.
yeah, what is it that you created that you or what'd you do with your phone? You're like, "Hey, I wanna help everybody rebrand their website. I just helped my friend
Yeah.
join
Yeah.
this here." Yeah.
I literally made my website on my iPhone 8. I went to Squarespace. They have an amazing app, and you can build a website off of the app. Like, it is so easy. Like, I go in there and I make changes on my website when I'm out and about. Like, I now have that full capability of being able to do that. So I use Squarespace. Absolutely love Squarespace. I tried Show It, but I could not build it off of my phone. And I was like, well, you're out the door because I'm going to find something that is going to build off of my phone. So that's pivot and pivot fast. And that's what I believe in. So I literally went to that app and I used it.
Squarespace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at over here, AndreaMerrill.co is on Squarespace. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's so beautiful. And you're able
And I
to
learned how to code.
and you learned how to code. Oh my gosh. All right. So fast forward. Let's go fast forward because now you're not necessarily well, I guess you are. You're helping what? Your perfect person comes to you, male or female, has an idea that they want to speak or an idea that they want to change the world or they're somewhere in the process. Like who's coming to you and you're like, "Oh yeah, you're my favorite person just to take it to the next level."
Yeah. So they're the ones that are really telling the stories, and not even telling the stories. It's more around, I teach, right? Like, I'm an expert in, for instance, I'm working with a functional medicine doctor,
Okay.
and she is very, like, when you are a, like a doctor or a lawyer or anything like that, you're very educated, so you automatically go towards, I need to teach, and that's not how you're going to get sales. So she came to me because she actually got this amazing keynote in with Yelp. And she's speaking in front of the owner of Sephora, the VP of Amazon, like these huge names. Yeah. And I wrote her keynote. So it's, yeah. And she's giving it today. Like, I'm so excited. It's literally the best keynote. Like, I can't even believe I helped her write it. But what we did was, they know that they have a story, but they can't do it themselves. They have that, and a lot of people don't look back. They don't want to go back to their childhood. They don't want to go back through the pain, the discomfort, right? We don't go towards that naturally. We don't want that. We want that to go away. And what I do is I bring my therapy skills of coming in and really pulling those stories out. And it is like, so for her, she saw a doctor since she saw over 13 specialists in her from the age of 14 to 26 years old. And she went to so many specialists, and all they would tell her is, there's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. It's just like this. It's in your head, right? That is a story that people can relate to, right? Like, I'm automatically like, oh my gosh, you saw that many. Not only that, is she started having seizures out of nowhere. Like, that needs to be in your story. People need to hear those things, especially if she's talking to people that want to improve their health. That story is important because then you go towards that inspiration. that pivotal change that changed everything, right? Like I did that within my story. I gave my message, I changed my mindset. Then I moved into the inspiration around the $12,500, right? And then you go into, you can do this too. And then they know that that you can help them. So we're giving a beautiful story that leads to conversion without you selling to them.
Amazing. And she ultimately is selling her functional medicine services
Program. Yeah.
program.
Hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Uh, uh, uh,
Yeah.
uh, Amazing. And so I just want to say you have or had your Mike framework, which I was going to speak to, but it sounds to me like you might have moved your frameworks around or renamed them a little bit. Or so n- I guess my question is this: you have this amazing coding website building experience. You have this incredible therapy, your master's in therapy, and you did that forever. I've got some notes from conversations where we from before where,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you were the work you were doing was incredible. What am I trying to
Yeah.
say? Yeah, yeah. So you are you, is this kind of a soup to nuts thing? I guess is what I'm trying to say. You're like, hey, functional medicine doctor, let's do your keynote. Great. Now let's redo your website. I'll help you with that. Great. Now let's do boom, boom, boom. Does that make sense? Does that question make sense?
Yeah. Yes. So what we do is I start off with the story to stage. So that is my coaching where we go into, that's actually technically an hour. I can prep you, get you ready for your messaging. And then also I have one-on-one coaching. So she did the one-on-one coaching with me. I have 4, 8, and 12 sessions that you can do with me. And that is solely based on your keynote. So we're crafting and creating your keynote. Not only that is we're breaking up the keynote so that you can build a powerful story to use on podcasts, on summits, on other areas where you get asked to speak and you're not giving your keynote, right? Like it wouldn't be appropriate right now for me to be like, let me break out my keynote and say it on here. Like, we're not doing that. But what we're doing is we're bringing in those bite-sized pieces of stories that you're like, oh my God, I want to work with her or I want to work with him. Like now I've heard something that is something that I need, something that's transformational for me. So that is exactly what I do in those. And then that next step further that you were just talking about is what I call a speaker ecosystem. So I do a lot of this through my Sell from Stage program, or you can work one on one with me where I will help you do your pricing and your offer, your freebie, because we have to have a really good freebie. And I like to call it a freemium because it moves into a premium service. And then we're working on your website. We have to have a psychology driven website. And then we have to have your email marketing done. So we are literally helping you sell from stage. So you have everything that you need. So when you get up on stage, you feel confident AF and you're like, yes, I feel good. I'm giving my keynote. And I know that I'm going to get sales after because I literally have the system in place for it.
Beautiful. How do you go from helping people design their websites to now I'm going to help you craft your keynote? There's got to be a key moment in there where, like, what happens? That because that's a jump. That's a definite turn in direction
Jump.
or a new additional layer to making websites for somebody or optimizing. Would you call
Yeah.
them psychologically driven websites? I love that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So the shift was I didn't feel like I was doing what my purpose is. Um, I really love websites. I think they're absolutely incredible. They're a great tool, and I really enjoy obviously doing them and coding them if I need to. Um, but I didn't feel like I was living out my purpose. So ever since I was a little girl, I've always said I want to give a voice to those that don't have one. And that is like, I remember being 5 years old saying that. And I have a very traumatic background. Many people wouldn't even know what I've been through in my childhood. And if you do want to know, feel free to go over to Instagram. I actually stood on stage and told my story for the first time, and I posted it on Instagram. So the videos are there of what I have endured as a child. So that was a big leap in my journey. So I am in a huge transformation, as you can tell. New brand photos, new name, new website, new social medias. Like, I am going hard and fast because I finally have found my purpose. So I was actually on a Nike commercial as a child. Tricks are for kids, and I did runway modeling, and I really love that. But the core is messaging. I love talking to people and I love conversations. And as humans, we love stories and we love really good stories, and we can have a converting story. And I've been told that I'm so good with words. I'm so good with writing and crafting those stories. Um, Not great at writing content. I don't know. Like, that's a different story. But I would say, like, at my heart, I am so proud to be working with my clients. Like, I could cry right now thinking of them and hearing their stories and what they've been through and what inspiration they're going to give to their audience, and it's going to change lives.
Good. I I'm curious, who was the first person or couple of people that you helped craft their keynote? Was it kind of the same thing as when you helped somebody, that first person, you know, build their $1 million business, where someone was like, I'm frustrated with speaking on stage. And you're like, oh, I could probably help you with that. And then you did. And so you're like, oh, wait a
Yeah.
minute, I could do more of this.
Yes. So actually, I just made this shift a couple of months ago. So it hasn't been long at all. Yeah, I know. So that keynote that I just told you about is my first keynote that I've written.
Oh, well, congratulations on that. Um, not the Virtually Adventurous, you are still helping people speak from stage. It looks like
Yes.
mostly you are geared towards women at this point, although you've said you're helping men and women
Oh, I
now.
have a lot of men in my world.
Oh, okay, cool. So tell me, so I see. I thought so Virtually Adventurous was, hey, let's build this ecosystem to help you monetize speaking on stage.
Yep.
And then recently you're like, why am I not writing your darn keynotes? Is that kind of the
Yeah.
transition that I'm seeing here?
Yeah. Yeah, because I realized, on actually that conversation, she was like, "Well, do you help write the keynote?" Because I could tell, like, she was like, "Okay, you're gonna help with the story, but how am I gonna write it? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know how to do that." And I was like, "Well, I do." Like, I've written plenty of keynotes for myself, for friends. Like, it's not that I haven't written one, it was that
Yes.
I never got paid to write one. And I was like, oh, wait. Again, it went, oh, I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. All right. I'm seeing the leap. So
Yep.
it's like the next iteration of what you were already doing. So you're helping
Yes.
people craft their stories, speak from stage, and then you're like, well, the next obvious thing to do is just let me write your keynote. And you're sitting down with this person, you have this master's degree. I think we need to tell people what you were doing when I don't want to say you glossed over it here recently, but you were working in the and the health services agencies, and you were dealing with like murder cases, rape cases. You were in the thick of it, helping people
Yeah,
deal with serious mental. I don't. I'm going to let
you're
you
right.
say it. Okay, yeah, mental. I mean, traumatic situations,
Yeah.
and so now you, how cool is that that you're able to help, mm, yeah, suss out these stories
Turn
from
their
people, right?
trauma into a story.
Turn their trauma into a story. So awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, really quick. You have a sixth child as well. Everybody needs to know. So
I
you
do
weren't
not.
done at 5. Oh, I thought you had 6 kids.
I did not. I did
Oh,
not.
you have 5?
Actually, if you were to watch CNN,
Yes.
um, I did say that I was pregnant with my sixth child, but unfortunately, I had to
Oh,
have a medical abortion due to almost dying with my fifth child. I almost died with my third as well. So there was a pattern that they were like, well, if you have another girl, like you probably would not survive this. So we
yeah.
had to make a decision to actually let go of that baby, which was one of the hardest decisions that I had to make in my life.
Yeah, yeah, boy. I have 2 sons. They're 21 and 23 now. Dawn, the boy's mom. I remember when we were having babies, and Dawn got pregnant so easily. So I mean, it was crazy. It was like I sneezed and she was pregnant, you know. and 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 I didn't understand how hard it is for some people to get pregnant. So
Yeah.
I was kind of naive to that whole thing, and then B, I didn't understand how many actual miscarriages and and uh, hard births there are. It's like 1 out of 4 or something like that, or something crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a lot, and pregnancy is traumatic. And like some people don't have any issues, and then for me, I had cervical cancer at 15, and I was told that I wouldn't even have children. So to have five, I was like, yes, like wow, the doctors were seriously wrong.
Hey, I'm just hearing this. I'm like, I had I've had some tumultuous times in my life too, and I went and did, I love Vedic astrology and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
when I was a teenager, I think it was when I either turned 18 or 21. My father, he was this hippie mountain man guy, but he gave me my astrological reading. This is so, what was this? 35 years ago or whatever it was, which is so funny. I still have it. I wish I had it to show you, but
Oh
it's
wow.
beautiful. Yeah. Now everything's online and it can spit it out really quick, but it was this beautiful hand driven astrological chart and all these great things. And
Oh
anyway,
wow.
yeah. Anyway, my point is, I
I need one of those. I needed one
yes.
of those.
Well, this is what I was going to say. The from I don't know, 5 years ago, I had it done again because I love a little bit of the hooey fooey. I'm
Ooh,
not
me
I'm not going to
too.
lie. And the person basically said, "Oh my gosh, your the trauma side of your life, or the tumultuous times of your life are pretty much done. It's smooth sailing from here on out."
Great.
I'm hoping that you're in the smooth sailing section of your
Me
life,
too. I
Andrea.
need one of these done. Where do I go?
Right? Oh my gosh. Um, yeah, I will, I'll give you, I'll track down the person who did that for me, and I'll give you their information, and then you can say, "Hey,
Yes.
do this for me," and let me know, like, what's going on here. Am I done?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I have been through the thick of it.
Yeah. So, what do you see as as the problem with most people who are trying to speak from stage, make their keynotes? Like, what are the main issues you're seeing out there?
Yeah. So I think the main issues are they're over educating. They're giving too much, and we consume too much already, right? Like the consumption that we're on our phones, we're trying to get more education, we're trying to learn more. Like we don't need more education. We need more stories that we can have education in there, but we need to weave in stories around it. So that would, I would say that's a one indicator. Another one is they're just not preparing. They're not getting ready for the talk that they're getting on, and they're missing out key pieces that they could have told. I recently talked to a guy because I was on Sirius XM radio recently in Vegas. It was so much fun. And one of the guys there I got to listen to, and I was like, oh, I can help him. Like, I know I can help him. So we got on a call recently, and he was giving me even more stories. And I was like, why didn't you tell that? Like, in the conversation, like in that podcast recording. And he's like, oh, yeah, I totally forgot. So again, we have to prepare, and we also have to know what are we saying. And then also another one is people change it up. We don't need to change things up. We need to keep telling the same story. We need to keep realigning with why we got started and where we're headed, because people are really intrigued by that. So we don't need to change the story over and over and over. We need to really have a solid story and keynote and our subcategories, right? Like for podcasting, I recently was in a mastermind and it was amazing. I got paid to speak in a mastermind, and I had all the right things to say. And actually, the person in there is a speaker herself. She's actually been a host for a TV show. She's done lots of incredible things. And she told me I gave her more confidence to speak. And I was like, what? And she's like, yes, like you, the way that you came in and taught to my group changed me and gave me more confidence and helped me be a better speaker. And that was huge coming from someone that has literally been at like NBA basketball game, like huge things. And she's telling me this. So remember, like, come in there prepared and ready, and also serve. We want to serve over selling. And I think that's so important because a lot of the time we don't want to give too much away because we're afraid. We're afraid that they're not going to buy from us if we give too much away. Guys, people buy because of the value. They buy because you've given to them, you've helped support them, and you're willing to go the extra mile for them. People want to feel special. They want to know that they are getting their needs met because they're coming to you because they have a problem. So, how do we solve that problem and help them get a quick win so that we can then help support them even further?
Mhm. Good. I have another question that I ask,
Yeah.
and excuse me, and it's nuanced from what we see as the problem and what you just answered. But I'll ask you, and I'll see if some new answers come up for you.
Yeah.
What are the pain points that you see?
Oh, the pain points for
Yeah.
the speakers.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's really good. So for them, I would say like they're not closing, right? They're getting up on that stage, whether in person or online, and they are just not monetizing it, right? Like they're passionate about their message, but they can't seem to turn that passion into profit. And I hear that a lot. Another one that I hear a lot is fear of being salesy or inauthentic, right? Like people worry about pushing too hard, fearing that they're going to turn that audience off and that they're not going to convert. And then it makes them feel super sleazy, right? Like it feels icky being sold to. So it's so important to like take away that fear of feeling salesy because people need to be sold to. Okay. People need to be sold to and they want to be sold to. They just don't want to be sold in like an icky or slimy way. Another thing is like there's a lack of confidence on stage. So lots of nerves, lots of self doubt, lots of fear. Like I had it going on Sirius XM radio. Like I'm like, who am I to be here right now. Like, I can't even believe that I'm here. And then I got asked to be put on a TV show. So that I'm like, they want me to fly out to Vegas next week to be on a TV show, to be on his podcast. Like, I'm like, who am I? So of course we have to get over that fear of that and really feeling like confident in that and feeling bold confidence. And then also there's a disconnection with the audience. They feel like they're not really crafting that audience with them. Like it's leading to forgettable things. They're not as engaged with them. Um, do you want me to keep going
Please
or
do. No, this is amazing.
yeah?
This is great.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Good. Okay. So another one I would say is they are unclear of their offer structure and pricing. Like, remember, I was talking about that in the ecosystem. So they have that valuable insight to share, but they're just unsure of their packaging and their structure, and they're not sure if it's going to sell. So that's something that people really worry about. I recently did a session with a client yesterday, and we went through all of her offers, her structure, her pricing, and her messaging. And she was like so clear afterwards, but she has been so unclear for years. And it's so good. And that was a huge pain point for her. Also, they're overwhelmed by tech and sales funnels. They're having those inconsistent results. So that is something that is also a huge pain point.
I love that. Actually, I don't love it, but I get it. What was the last one you said? Overwhelmed by tech and sales funnels? Is that what you said?
Yes, and then inconsistent results. So like they could be doing good on one and then the next one they're like, why didn't it work? Well, why didn't it work is because your story changes, what you're saying changes, and it might not land the same. This is why we have one keynote. We don't need a million.
Yeah. I'm trying to boy, there's so many great questions that are sloshing around through my head. If somebody let's start with the last one. Overwhelmed by tech and sales funnels and
Mhm.
inconsistent results. Top thing, top 1, 2, or 3 things that somebody listening, watching right now can do to solve that. And I know that's vague and you might say it depends, but just give me the the first inspiration you have to answer that.
Yeah, so I would say go craft a really juicy freebie. I like to call them a snack. They're like a charcuterie board. So for me, you ever get asked to go out to dinner, like, or go to a friend's house for dinner, and then I typically, this is me, I don't eat, so I eat there. And I'm like, I want to be present and eating with them and then not be full before I go. So I go in there ravagely hungry. And at this point, I'm hangry, right? Like, I'm like, I need some food right now or I cannot conversate. They're going to bring out a charcuterie board or snacks or something to eat, right? There's always something. That is what I see a freebie being, because what did I get from that? I got a quick win. I'm no longer hungry and I'm in the moment and I'm back being not hangry, right? Like, I'm excited to be here and conversate. So think of your freebie as that bite-sized piece of content that you can give them that gives them a really juicy win. So I really love quizzes, and I think quizzes are so fun. I use Outgrow. It's an AI that you can go in there and you can literally tell it what you want your quiz to be and what results you want them to get. And it will build the entire quiz for you. Okay, guys, like, let's do this. You can have a freebie done today. Like, you don't need to wait forever to have these things done. So feel free to go to Outgrow. And I use that. And then the next thing that I would say is you have that freebie. It needs to go into a email system. You need to have a system. I use Flowdesk. I think it's really simple. It's easy. It's inexpensive, and it's really beautiful. So I use Flowdesk. You slap it in there in a form, right? Like, or have it on your website. And then what you're going to do is you're capturing those emails at the end of the quiz. Then you're delivering funnel emails. I call them funnels. All there are, guys, is 7 beautiful emails that you take to conversion. So you welcome them, you nurture them, and then you sell to them. So it's 7 emails, and it's to welcome, right? Like they are getting to know you. We have the 2 there, then we have the 2 nurtures and 3 sales. Now we have 7 emails. Boom. Go into ChatGPT or Claude AI and you tell them to write what quiz you just did and whatever it is that you are doing, and tell it to build a converting email marketing, like act as an email marketer, a converting email marketer, and write out 7 emails. I want 2 welcome, 2 nurture, and 3 sales emails. And boom, right? And you put your offer in there, what you're offering them. And yes, that's it. Like you can literally have it done today. We do not need to take forever or be overwhelmed by it. Like it is seriously that simple.
Can we make it a little bit harder, please, Andrea?
I know. I know. Sorry. Oh, let's step this up a game. Okay. If you're making it on, let's say you don't do a quiz. Okay. You have, for me, I have put out a amazing new freebie that I'm is crafting your magnetic story, a step-by-step guide for transformational speakers. Okay. What I did was I created this. I used ChatGPT to help me like suss out all the stuff, right? Or, okay, you can take that copy and you go to Gamma. Okay, it's called gamma.app. Yeah, have you used it?
Heard about it. Keep going. Tell me more.
Woo!
It's like Gamma dot app makes uh
Oh
uh
my God.
tell me.
Presentations,
Yes.
documents. Okay, you go in there and you click add and you copy and paste what you created and it designs it for you. Okay,
Oh.
I just said it. It designs it for you. So no more Canva, no more waiting, no more taking hours of designing, no more hiring. Like you literally go to Gamma, you take the content that you just got, you slap and paste it in there, and you have it done.
Wow. That is
Yes,
awesome. Is that Gamma dot AI? Is that what you said?
Gamma.app,
Gamma dot app.
APP. Yep,
APP.
it
Amazing.
is so good. And then you can even publish it and turn it into a site, and you can get analytics on it. Like it's a game changer. So, guys, you can have it done today.
So you're, if I'm hearing you correctly, you are not using ClickFunnels or Go High Level or anything like that. You're using, you said it earlier a couple of times.
Yeah,
What is it?
Flowdesk.
Flowdesk.
Flowdesk. Yeah,
Flowdesk, along with what's your website builder again?
Squarespace.
Squarespace. Squarespace and Flowdesk. Um, Website builder is Squarespace. These are all relatively reasonably priced relative
Yeah.
to the others as well, right?
Yeah. And again, I like keeping my business lean.
Yes.
And I think people get very sucked into the bells and whistles. Like, oh, that's so cool. It can do that. Guess what? Do you think they ever use it? No. They never use it. They're like, "Oh, the bells and whistles. I need this. Click funnels, like all the ads, all the things, all the Russell Brunson. Like I get it. I get it, but you're not there. And you don't need those things. You don't need to be paying for it. You don't need that. And a lot of my clients that have jumped on there, not with me being like, get on there, they get on there alone. They end up leaving it. And then they come back to me and then they're like, okay, how do we do this? And I'm like, okay, like, let's get serious now. So you don't need all the bells and whistles, especially if you're just like, you're a speaker, you have your business, you're a small business owner. Like, you don't need all those things. And if you want them, then please build up your business to multi-million dollars and then pay someone to put you on there so you know how to use it.
That's the tip of the day right there. Truly,
Yeah.
truly.
Yeah, we're not wasting money. We don't have time. We don't waste time and we don't waste money. Like we can't do that. Our money is so important in where we put it. And I'm not going to put it in something that I'm not going to touch or use, or something that I have no idea how to use it, or there's a huge learning curve. We don't need hard, we need simple.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
do you have a membership or a community, paid membership community, anything like that? What's going on? What are someone jumps into your ecosystem and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Andrea is amazing. Like, I want more." So they
Yeah.
download your freebie, your freemium, your what's to be
Yeah.
coming. What is it? Your I can't wait to
Oh,
see
my
it.
new lead magnet.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah. Yeah,
The
your new
crafting the stories, crafting your magnetic story.
yeah, crafting your magnetic stories. I had that written down, but I can't see where I wrote it down. I'll do that. I'll be taking notes madly, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, crafting your magnetic stories. I need that, right?" And I'm like, "Where's that note?"
Yeah.
But go ahead. Yeah. So what are you doing these days? So I mean, yeah, go ahead. Tell me. What can
Yeah,
people
so I
expect?
really yeah, so I have my call that you could do with me and we can really hash out things um and see what you need. So a lot of I like to give people what they need, right? Or right? They come to me for their wants and I give them what they need. Like, guys, that's what we need to be doing. Um, and what I do is I really take them through that call and I figure out exactly what they need to be doing and where it's perfect for us to work together. So, whether that is through my Sell from the Stage program, mastery program that I have, that is a 6 month container, and I help them craft their story. I help them build their ecosystem so that they have everything that I just talked about. And I help empower them to be able to do it and feel really good about it. Especially if they can't afford my higher ticket services for me to build it out, I'm taking them through the whole process. And I also bring in speakers. So I like to bring in speakers to come teach and also provide value that way. I love my Sell from the Stage program community. I also have Pitch to Stage. It's a small program that they could take. It's around $197, and literally it will teach you how to pitch to get on stages. So that's really fun. And then, of course, I have my one-to-one coaching that you could work with me, either a 4, 8, or 12 session.
Cool. Lots of good, fun stuff going on. And
Yeah.
best place for someone to find you these days, Andrea.
Andrea Merrill, or the Andrea Merrill, you can find.
Okay. Google you? Is that what you're telling me right now? Just
You
Google.
Google me. You can find me on Instagram by that name. You can find me on LinkedIn by that name. You could put in Andrea Francis Merrill on Facebook, and that is my name.
You are ubiquitous in a good way, all over. You are everywhere. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Of course, AndreaMerrill.co. Quick top tips for somebody who's wanting to create their their keynote. Like, what are the top 5 things, 3 things anybody listening, watching right now can take away that you could just say, hey, you're creating a framework, a keynote. Here's the top 3 or 4 or 5 things you need to focus on.
Yeah, I would say go back and do some mindset work, right? Like, I say this because a lot of people don't do mindset work, but please do the mindset work and look at what you've accomplished. What have you been through and what have you accomplished in your life? A lot of people don't like to go back and look at pain, but the pain brought us to where we are today. So I think that that's really important to do. Another thing that I would say to do is minding those. mining. I like saying mining your golden moment. So find that story that is gold, that is just, you've dug deeper, you've, find a few moments of vulnerability and challenge, you've asked yourself key questions about your journey, and you focus on the emotion and the universal truth of your story. So I really think that that's important to find, so you can dive deeper into that story and finding that golden moment. The next part I would say is the inspiration. You need to inspire and look at um, how are they feeling. So when we say feel, I want you to think of focus on shared experiences, E, emotional truth over facts, and another E, embodied storytelling, and L, so I want you to layer the meaning, right? Like really think of that vulnerability moment. So you have to think of it strategically. And I know that this could be kind of hard, but like you got to think of that pattern interrupt that happened. Then you need to create curiosity, and then you're going into that universal experience, and then you're having the strategy, that revelation that they're having at the end of your conversation that you're having. So I think that those are really important. One other thing I want to add is be vulnerable, guys. Please be vulnerable. People love vulnerability, and when we're honest and we tell our story, like obviously me talking, like that's hard to talk about, but I'm willing to be vulnerable. I'm willing to be open and share my experiences because I know that it's going to inspire someone else. So please be vulnerable.
Good, that's good. We could keep going on and
Oh,
on. I've
yeah.
written yes, I've written down a ton of questions. I do wanna be cognizant of time, so we'll save it for we'll save them for interview number 2, but I think this is a great
Of
place to
course.
stop. Inevitably, when I hit stop, I go, "Oh, I meant to say," or "I wished I'd have said." Is there anything coming to your mind right now?
Yeah. The world needs your voice.
That's
It
good.
does. It does. It
That's
does. Like, don't hold back. We have a lot of fear within ourselves that our voice doesn't matter or what we're doing doesn't matter. And we go through a lot of imposter syndrome. And that's why I say really work on your mindset, because the world needs your voice. And honestly, I need your voice. And I think that that's what's really important.
it's beautiful. Andrea, I'm gonna hit stop, and we will say goodbye offline.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.